Hello everyone. Today we will understand the concept of leadership to better understand organizational behavior. To start with, let's understand the meaning of leadership. It is the art of influencing people to attain group objectives willingly. According to Bernard, leadership is the quality of behavior of the individual whereby they guide people or their activities in organized efforts. According to Bernard, Keyes and Thomas, it is the process of influencing and supporting others to work enthusiastically towards achieving objectives. It is essentially a continuous process of influencing behavior of people. It is mutual relation between a leader and his follower. The leader tries to influence the behavior of individual or group of individuals around him to achieve desired goals. So, in organizations, whenever we want to study the organization behavior, see, in the previous chapters, we understood that the organizational behavior can be studied at three levels: individual level, group level, and organizational level. So, when you want that in your organization, you are working with, let's say, with 400 people or 500 people, and amongst them you have managers, you have subordinates, you have executives, associate managers, you have labor, you have team leaders, you have supervisors. So it is impossible for a CEO to manage all the people, to take or address the issues and problems of all these 500 people alone. Let's forget about 500 people. If you are an organization employing 500 people, then you alone cannot handle the affairs of these 500 people. And let's take the example of projects-based organizations. So here they take the projects of client organization and a team starts working on them. So you can say that under one manager there are 5 projects which are running, and if there is a team of 10 people working under one project, then approximately 5 multiplied by 10, around 50 people are working under one manager, and they are working on different projects. So their skills are different, their requirements are different, and their objectives are also different. So it is again very tough for manager to deal on daily basis with all these groups. So it is better that they find a leader who can influence people and who can work with people, who can guide them so that they work in the desired direction, they work for the goal which they have to achieve. So leadership is very important in the organization because to handle the affair of certain people, you need such people who have this ability, who have this personality, who have this attraction that they can influence others, and it becomes very easy and simplified for the organization to handle a mass of people. Also, when you give leadership to people, they feel more responsible, they are self-disciplined, they are self-driven. So it again add to their self-motivated mode, in which you have to pay less attention on their motivation generation, and you can involve that time as a manager to other constructive activities, because leaders are self-motivated ones, and the one who follow them, the leader has this power, the ability that all are influenced by. So leadership is very important. Now, there is a difference between leadership and management. These are two different concepts. We cannot say that every good manager is a good leader, but we can say that every good leader can be a good manager. If we minus technical skills from a manager, Okay, it is certainly required because your professional requirements will seek technical skills. So you might be very good with computers, but you might not be that good with handling the team, and this team is working on all these computers. So the difference between leadership and management should be understood here on this slide. So the first difference, management is task oriented. Your manager might call you. You are handling a team of 10 people. So the manager will call you and they will say, okay, we have a project which we have to finish in next 15 days. And it is your job that you convince people to help it finish in 15 days. Now the manager is task oriented. Now, because they have to lead several jobs, they have to lead several activities and projects. Whereas leadership is people oriented. So the leader focuses on people and the management focuses on task completion. The second is management is transactional in its nature and leadership is transformational. In leadership, you influence people in a manner that they are willingly changing, transforming themselves. They are adding the skills which are required for them to perform a specific job. They are not pressurized. They willingly join you in that job. Whereas in management, it is transactional. The manager might use the power of punishment and rewards to make people or the team work for a specific task. Now, management is all about doing the things right. So whatever job they take in hand, they want to do it in a right manner. Whereas the leadership believes in doing the right things. Management is associated with events and tasks, whereas leadership is all about the attitude and behavior of people. Because you are not leading machines, you are leading human. You have to lead their behavior, you have to lead their attitude. Management believes in rational thinking. They are very practical when they are thinking about the solutions, when they are thinking about the strategies, when they are planning how to achieve a certain goal. They cannot add emotion into it. So they think in quantifying manner, whereas leadership is inspirational. It is visionary in a manner. So the leaders inspire the followers and they give them the vision that you will, in the long run, you will achieve this. Management instruct people, whereas leadership believes in listening and empowering people. So management just instruct people that you have to perform this certain task by this process and you have to follow it. But for leaders, they listen how people want to work and they empower them, give them the freedom, give them the space where they can work accordingly. So they are not instructing them over small and big things, rather they empower that they work individually, they lead less management over them and they are self-driven. Management believes in cognitive intelligence, that is problem solving ability, that people should have the intelligence where they can think of many solutions, solving a problem or analyzing an issue. Whereas leadership is associated with emotional intelligence. A leader invests his time in understanding the different emotional requirements and dependencies um, of the influencers, of the followers or the team. Management relies on authority, so they many a times believes in one-way communication. They command people. They believe in taking the decisions in their hand and taking it at the right time. Whereas leadership does not rely on authority, rather lead through others. So when the team is on time performing all the job, you are leading them. Then management is a push approach where the workers, the employees are pushed to be motivated and to complete or finish a task, whereas in leadership it is a pull approach. You are attracting, pulling, just like a magnet, you are pulling all those influencers towards the job. They are now coming willingly to perform that task. They are not forced or pushed into that job, rather they willingly take it in their hand and then perform. Management is about the state, maintaining a status, whereas leadership is risk taking. You have to apply different strategies, you have to um, incorporate different styles at times to influence people and make them work accordingly. So management manage the task and leadership lead the people, because no management can function effectively if people are not functioning, employees are not functional, the workers are not functional. So management is actually a group of all those people. So to make those people feel belonged to the organization, leadership is very much required. Moving ahead, what are the objectives of leadership? It is about why the organization need leadership. What is the purpose of introducing leadership? One, to develop the feeling of cooperation and coordination, so that people feel that we need to stay together, we need to work with others, and we need to cooperate with each other so that we complete the task on time. And there will be times when you need to coordinate with other group members, other team members or departments, because leadership gives you the essence that we all are chasing a common goal. No matter we are working on different stations, we have different skills, we all are given different jobs, but we all need to coordinate so that a task can be completed efficiently and effectively. Another objective of leadership is to determine and provide the needful direction about good or bad, or right or wrong conducts and behavior as may be applicable to society. In every organization, management expect the employees to behave in a certain manner or to take in certain conducts which can help or accelerate the goal achievement process. So these leaders, they direct these the followers to differentiate between what is good and what is bad or right or wrong in their conduct, which can harm their personal interest also and the corporate interests. Also, the objective of leadership is to determine and formulate the equitable and justified behavioral norms in society. As a leader, you must not be biased um, in your eyes about your team members or your followers, because you have to give everyone an equal eye so that they believe that we are all equal, we are treated equally, and the leader does not differentiate um, on the basis of our skills or experience or education. Also, the objective of leadership is to develop new innovative and creative idea, outlook and approaches among people, to determine and make the perspective, vision and mission for the well-being of human life in society, and to determine and develop the parameters on the basis of ethical values towards optimum and balanced behavior between individual and group in a society. So here we are speaking of ethical values. While working in organizations, you have to compete in the market. You have to be proactive so that you can stay competitive, and many a times you can beat the competitors. And in doing so, many a times the organization um, creates an environment where the employee might feel stressed, and in that stress situation they might be deviated from the ethical path. They might try to take shortcuts which in shorter period of time may give them benefits, but in longer run are going to backfire on their personal aspect and the organizational aspect. So a leader tells them that you have to balance your behavior how you behave individually and how you behave in a group. There should be optimum balanced behavior. That is the objective of leadership. What are the features of leadership? To understand leadership, we must understand its feature. The first is there must be follower. It is also the requirement of leadership that you must have followers. If a leader does not have followers, he cannot exercise his authority. And leadership exists both in formal and informal organizations. When we speak of formal organizations or informal organization, where many times in an informal organization, let's take the example of NGOs. Many NGOs at beginning level or smaller level or middle level, they do not have a hierarchy. They do not have the relationship of who's boss. So in that informal setting, leaders are required because it is not associated with your profile or your designation in the organization. Many a times, let's speak of trade unions. You might be chosen as a leader for 200 laborers. They choose you. Even after being you chosen as a leader, there might be any labor who is influencing the decisions or thought of people. So it is not associated with your designation or profile. Leadership can exist in formal and informal settings both. Then leadership is the working relationship between the leader and follower. It means that the leader should present himself in a place where the work is actually going on. If he is not the dynamic person, he cannot get things done. So you are leading people because you want them to work on a certain task, and to keep that task functional, you along with your followers have to work together. Then leadership is a personal quality. You must have heard many a times, and the great man theory also, that leaders are born. It is not a skill. With many who are not educated, who are not literate, who did not work in an organizational setting, professional setting, they might also have the behavior of a leader. So it is a personal quality where you are able to influence the work of others. Many a times you do not need any kind of education or other qualification to be called as a leader. You might be born with that skill, that you have this ability. When you start speaking, you are influencing others. Also, it is a reciprocal relationship. Reciprocal relationship is that it is the leader who will influence the follower, and in turn the followers should also influence the leader. The willingness of following each other should come from both sides. So it is a reciprocal relationship. Community of interest. The leader and the follower should have a common interest. Many a times you have to compromise your individual interest and you have to work for the organizational interest. Many employees might feel uncomfortable in compromising their individual interest. So it is the job of the leader to tell them, to convince them that organizational interests are more important this time, and we might somewhere compromise with our own interest. We may take the interest, our own individual interest next time, but this time it is important that the organization is benefited. If the organization is benefited, it is in profit, then our job is safe and we might get bonus, and it is also good for us. If organization is growing, we are growing with the organization. Then leadership is all about guidance. You are guiding your followers to achieve the goals of the organization. So a leader should take steps to motivate his followers for guiding them. it is required that there will be a time when they are out of the guidance. They need someone to guide them how they can achieve the goal. It might be a situation of scarcity of resources. It might be a new project. You are not familiar with the functionality. Then the leader should be there to resolve their doubts and guide them throughout that journey. Leadership is related to a particular situation, because your style of leadership can vary time to time. Sometimes it is the requirement of the situation that you have to be the cooperative one, and there will be a time when you have to be the authoritative one. So leadership does not belong, I mean to say that for every different situation you cannot have one style of leadership. One situation will have only one style of leadership. For another situation, you might need to change your leadership style. Then next is, it is a shared function, because you are working with your followers to achieve the objective of the organization. So they all need to work towards one objective of the organization, and there they have to share this feeling of togetherness. Only then leadership can work. It is also a power relationship. A leader has powers which he can exercise over his followers. The leader derives this power from the organizational hierarchy, superior knowledge, experience, and other life factors. Now, let's understand the need and importance of leadership. Leadership is important because there are many organizations which may have imperfect organization structure. To bring perfection in such organization, effective leadership is required. So these leaders will help creating formal groups, informal groups, which will work together to reduce or remove the imperfection from the organizations. Second, there is a rapid change in the technology, in the economic status and state of the country, and social. Let's take the example of India. We can see all these three types of changes taking place every year. We are technically advancing, we are economically changing, we are shifting from developing to developed, and there are several economic trends on which we are working. And we also see a change in the social factor. The society is also changing with the change in the economy, with the change which are brought in by the technology. So society is also changing. So when this constant change is taking place, so this change might have a negative impact on the employees, because when you are upgrading your technology in your organization, then people might resist this change. They dislike initially. Every kind of change is resisted. The intensity may be high or low, but generally when there is a change which is brought into an organization, the employees resist it, because they have been working in the previous setting, they were quite comfortable, and when this change has been brought, then it is required that the superior subordinate relationships and management styles are taken care of. So the change in technology change or social change, leadership is required. Their teams need someone who can keep them together, the cohesion is maintained, and this change is brought in very slowly and comfortably, and the change management is done by leaders. Then when the organization is growing, there are certain imbalances which are created, because when the organization grow in size and complexity, there are many kinds of imbalances which can be created. For example, increase in organizational activities may lead to increase in levels of management, which will add to complexity of the organization structure and create problem of command, coordination and control of work at different work centers. For example, when a small firm is acquired by a bigger firm, so now they have new management, they have new owners. Certainly this organization will have a different style of work. Now the employees from this acquired organization, they may feel uncomfortable because they are now brought to a different dimension of working. So they might not be given sufficient time to adapt to it. So here the management requires leadership, and these leaders can help in reducing the negative impact of these imbalances, which might be balanced in the coming days. Now, why leadership is important? Because leaders support the followers by assembling the organizational resources. So they provide them task support. If you are performing a task and you need several resources, so the leader can help you accomplish your task, maintaining the level of performance by offering that support. Leadership also gives psychological support. It helps followers to work on their jobs, to work on their projects with zeal and enthusiasm. Leadership is important because it helps in the development of individuals, because these leaders build willingness, enthusiasm and confidence in their followers for completing the individual goals and organizational goals. So this development of individuals fill them with confidence, and they feel more belonged and responsible towards the organization, which results in overall growth and development. Leadership helps in building the team spirit. So people work collectively, they coordinate their activities with organization activities, and here the leader works as the captain of the team. Leadership motivates people, which is very important, because when the employees are motivated, then they are ready to work on the jobs even if it demands 101% of their efforts. So they are willingly into that job because they are motivated. So motivation is required. Then leadership also provides feedback, because when people work towards the well-defined targets, they want constant feedback of their performance, which will help them achieve their goals effectively. So leadership is also helps people get the feedback in a right manner. Leadership helps in introducing change. It also helps in maintaining the discipline. Now, there are different types of leadership styles. Not every leader lead through one selected type. Rather, we see different leaders. For example, Mahatma Gandhi has been the leader of people. When we speak of leadership, we also give example of Adolf Hitler from Germany. He was also a leader because there were thousands and lakhs of people who were following him and doing the task the manner he wanted. So he was also a leader, and there we have these people like Mahatma Gandhi, and there are many types of leaders we see around us who are very strict. Some are very comfortable working with people, some believes in giving commands, some believes in participation, and thus we can say that not every organization need a specific type of leadership. Rather, there are many types of leadership, many styles of leaders. So we will here understand how many styles of leadership exist. So Lewin Kurt Lewin, he was a psychologist. In 1939, came up with three basic leadership styles which are used, and we can relate most to these leadership styles. They are also taught in today's time. The first one is authoritarian, which is also known as autocratic. The another one is participative, also known as democratic leader. And the third style is delegative, which is also known as laissez-faire style of leadership. Let's understand them one by one. So when we speak of authoritarian leadership, as the word suggests, authority, the one who believes in dictating policy and procedure to other, the one who believes that he will decide, he will give the direction to the team, and the team has to follow the direction and the process which he has decided. Everyone should work on that process. So he does not believe in taking input from the team. So a leader who is autocratic believes in one-way command, one-way communication, I should say, wherein he believes in directing and commanding and ordering the team, and does not take any inputs from them. He believes that whatever he has decided is the best solution or the best strategy for the problem, and others should just follow it without giving any input to the solution or to the problem. So such leaders want the people to complete their task under close supervision. Participative leadership. Here the group members are called to participate in many decisions. The autocratic leader did not invite participation from the team. Whatever decision he has to take, he decided on his own and then implemented or executed those decisions on the team. But in participative, they offer guidance to the group. They take input from the people, and all group members are asked to contribute and give their inputs for a specific task. So participative leaders, they make their group feel like they are part of the team, which create commitment within the group. So the participative leaders, they follow the two-way communication, where the communication is flowing from top to bottom and again going back in the form of suggestions, in the form of requests, inputs to the top also. The third style is called delegative leadership. So those leaders who practice this type of leadership, they are very hands-off, which means they give the team the freedom or space to finish the job their way. They offer little or no guidance to their group, and the decision making is left up to the group members. So these members decide how they will finish the job. They do not get any kind of guidance from their leader. Though these leaders will provide them the necessary tools and resources to complete a project, but they will give the freedom to the group members to take their decisions and actions on the basis. So these are three different types of leadership. In modern times, many theorists also researched and came up some other kinds of leadership styles also. Let's understand them also. So before understanding them, let's quickly understand what are the traits and skill of leadership. So because every leader must possess some skills which differentiates him from other followers, and how to identify. So a leader should have good communication skill. He should have a good team building spirit. He should have a strategy so that he can help the team to work on a specific goal in the long term, and outlining the steps for accomplishing like critical thinking, research, forecasting. So the leader should have the skill to strategize activities and jobs. He should have effective decision making also. A good leader is the one who takes decision timely, so he must have the decision making skill. Also, he must have problem solving skill. Solving problems is required that you first have the ability to identify the problem, to diagnose and to understand it. Then a leader should be a mentor and should be able to teach other people. So it also involves developing the team's talent and skills and making them well-rounded professionals ready for leadership position. Now, there are few new modern types of leadership also. So here we can see that there are three types of leadership: transformational, transactional and charismatic. Transformational leadership and transactional leaderships are different. In transactional leadership, here the leader uses the reward and punishment to motivate the followers. In such type of leadership, the leader decides the objectives and goals previously and then use reward and punishment related to whatever objective they have planned, and then the followers are motivated on the basis of reward and punishment. So here you can see that this type of leadership is quite controlling, where the manager is using the reward system or the punishment to motivate the followers to finish a task in the given time. Now, it is required because it focuses on improving the current situation of the organization. And the basic purpose of this type of leadership is to revamp the existing corporate culture and to enhance the current policies and procedure. So, we shall not see it as a negative aspect of leadership, but it is required many a times because you want to change something. And there you do not want to give the employees a space to resist it because it is the call or the requirement of that time, because you have to enhance the current policies and procedures. The second type is transformational. Here, the leader uses his influencing power and enthusiasm to motivate his followers to work for the benefit of the organization. So, unlike transactional leadership, this type of leader does not use reward and punishment. Rather, he uses his own influencing power and enthusiasm to motivate the workers to work. Here, the leader sees the requirement for a change in the existing organization culture, gives a vision to the subordinate, incorporate mission and implement the change with the dedication of his followers. So, in transformational leadership, the leader acts as a role model for the team. He is a motivator also, who is giving the vision and encouragement, morale and satisfaction to the followers. Charismatic leadership, it is about the leader only. It is about the people who have a very magnetic personality, a persona. They carry some aura around them that people are influenced, like they have the ability to communicate, influence and very confident while talking to others. So because charisma is a process which is a quality which require transforming vision into a reality. So leaders who apply charismatic leadership tend to have a clear vision in their business or politics. So here we can take the example of our current Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He is known to be a charismatic leader because when he starts speaking, he has this magnetic effect that people want to listen to him. And he is so clear and focused on the goals over which he is addressing the mass, and he is able to connect it directly to the people. So these kind of leaders, they have this capability to address a large audience, to influence them with a convincing speech. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.